Easy best movie of the year. This is the comment that I got from one of my friends after watching Oppenheimer a few days before its release here in the Philippines. And because of that, I had to check it out for myself kung totoo nga ba to yung statement na sinabi niya. So, let's dive in to the review of Oppenheimer. This film is written and directed by Christopher Nolan. And I think this is one of the most exciting parts. Kaya maraming nanood ng Oppenheimer. He's a great director and he proves it all the more in this movie. This is by far one of the most emotional Nolan films I've seen to date. It's still consistent with everything else that he has given us in the past. It was just brilliant in how he directed every sequence and every moment, but still being very much himself. But you still felt that this was way different. There was a different angle, different treatment, and a different way of attacking this story, but still being very creative and very 100% Nolan. So yeah, you get the classic dark tones, dark story, dark elements to this film. It's very intellectual as well, where I felt like you still get the sense that you have to see this again. You have to think about what happened in the film, because there's definitely a lot of symbolic nature to it. Even the way that the color grading was very different in certain scenes. There was black and white, there was colored. There were visual effects coming in on different fronts, which have a deeper meaning, definitely. And to unearth it, you have to see it again, or you have this open conversation with people to talk about what they thought. And that's what I love, or my biggest takeaway from Nolan films in general. This is also by far the most different Nolan film because of the running time. This is 3 hours long. But what I loved about it is you don't necessarily feel it. Yes, there are moments that it does feel long, but Nolan has this way of making it interesting, making it vibrant enough. In each and every turn, there's something different. There's a different way of communicating the drama, the heaviness of the story. Now, the consistency doesn't end there because the visuals are classic Nolan. There was no CGI effects here. So that was actually mind-blowing for me, because you would kind of figure out or think, now this scene is CGI, it's gotta be, but it's not. This for me is a testament to Christopher Nolan and his ability as a filmmaker, and this resolve to create a film that's 100% practical effects. And going back to that kind of filmmaking is refreshing to see. But the visuals is just one thing. The sound mixing and scoring is just, it pairs beautifully with every moment. It creates this tension. Like with the scoring, it lifts everything up in a more dramatic way. It's an immersive experience, from the visuals down to the story, down to the scoring. I love how there's even, with the pairing of the visuals and the audio, there is that symbolism that Nolan tries to intertwine with the story. There are moments when the bomb goes off, but the sound is delayed, as in like it's noticeably delayed. And I was like, this is interesting. It kind of reflects the story of Oppenheimer, where he was seeing things and had this vision for how he was going to be like a scientist that would save the world, that would help the world, that would help the crisis of war, but eventually delayed yung morality issues that he would actually face. So yeah, I talked about the symbolic heaviness of this film, and it's very much seen in the story. This is a story that's symbolically rich, as we also get it as a consistent element with a Nolan film. A Nolan film is intellectual. You need to see it again and again to fully, not really understand, because this is one of the more simpler ones to understand. It's a story of Oppenheimer. It's told before, during, and after the Manhattan Project. And I appreciated a movie like this wherein I could understand all the more what happened in those events. The storytelling isn't linear. It goes back and forth through different times in Oppenheimer's life. Black and white scenes, and that actually helps in a way for you to follow the story and see why or what moment in time we're in or what we're following at this certain point in the story. And that may be at first a bit confusing. You have to acclimate to finally get where we're at and what the flow of the story is. And that's Nolan again. It's not a linear storytelling kind of direction. Throughout the film, we are literally experiencing a journeying with this character. And that, I think, is something revitalizing to see. I mean, I feel like any moviegoer would have been enticed by seeing the bomb go off, but that's not the focus. And the focus is Oppenheimer and even how he's so engrossed with every single moment, and you feel it. I love the character development of Oppenheimer here, where you really see the smooth transition and change and development and just that transformation that occurs throughout his life, how every event is in a way has shaped and molded who he is. And that's just, again, attributed to the emotional intensity of this film. This film is emotionally intense. There's so many like amazing actors and cast members here. You have Robert Downey Jr., you have Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt. The list goes on. I can't say each and every cast member because there's just so many that appear in this film. Standouts for me, Cillian Murphy nails it even with just his silent moments, just the zoom in on his face depicts the emotional weightiness of the story. Robert Downey Jr., for me, best role that I've seen RDJ in quite some time. I think this is his best performance, hands down. Personally, I also love Jason Clarke. He was amazing here. He was really intense, especially towards the end. It's not just, okay, kukunin ko lahat ng actors na to kasi gusto kong kumita. I want a big budget and a big return. It didn't feel that way. Each actor, even the supporting cast members, were utilized pretty well. I mean, they were directed pretty well to do their job here. I felt it. So far, this is one of the best films I've seen for 2023. It's exciting. It's, I think, one of the better Nolan films I've seen in a while. A simple, easy 10 out of 10 for me. This could be an Oscar-worthy contender, and it felt like it wasn't a Christopher Nolan trying hard to get an Oscar kind of film. It feels like a film that he poured everything out, whether or not he gets nominated or whether or not he gets an award. He just poured out everything that he's learned throughout the years, gives it to the fans, and delivers, nails it. That's it, wrap, perfect. I definitely highly recommend it. So check it out while it's still here in theaters in the Philippines. That's it for this video. Don't forget, of course, guys, to make every day into an adventure. Stay safe, God bless, and peace out.